In the wake of recent terror attacks, officials are ramping up security at New Year's Eve celebrations. Here in New York,
there will be multiple and more heavy weapons teams in Times Square than ever before.
The more than 1 million revelers will have to go through metal detectors. There will also be bomb-sniffing dogs and police snipers.
1,000 security cameras, aviation teams, radiation detection, and by the way, every single person who comes out here will be checked at least twice.
1 million visitors, as we mentioned, are expected here in New York City this New Year's Eve, and they will find the tightest security ever in place. In addition to a huge police presence on the ground, they will also be monitoring the crowds, and because of what happened in Las Vegas, extra attention on those buildings from above. ABC's Gio Benitez on what the NYPD and police across the country are doing that they've never done before.
Tonight, the NYPD taking unprecedented steps to protect the 1 million people expected to pack Times Square, closing off a wider perimeter this year than ever before, heavily armed police at multiple checkpoints.
Look, we have cop cars all over the place. There you go, there you go.
The police commissioner giving us a rare look at some of the 10,000 cameras keeping a watchful eye. From the ground to the air, helicopters lasering in on the crowds.
What are your pilots going to be looking for on New Year's Eve from the air? So they're going to be able to provide an overwatch for the commanders, the decision makers on the ground, to give them a strategic view.
And on these high rises, snipers ready to act with pinpoint focus.
There'll be sand trucks, more than 60 positioned around Times Square to form a protective perimeter against possible vehicular attacks.
For those who plan to brave the bitter cold to ring in 2018 in Times Square, they can expect to see extra tight security. Police are stepping up their presence following a year of deadly attacks on innocent people. Correspondent Brian Yennis reports on the measures being taken this year, not only to keep revelers warm, but also keep them safe.
2, 1, Happy New Year!
New Year's Eve organizers test drop confetti Friday as preparations continue for the famous ball drop in Times Square. But as last-minute preparations are underway for America's biggest New Year's Eve celebration, one thing on everyone's mind is the frigid weather. The National Weather Service forecasts it will be 10 degrees Sunday night, a wind chill below zero, making it the second coldest New Year's Eve in New York City's history. The Arctic chill nationwide has officials worried about hypothermia and frostbite.
Here in the city tomorrow night, the New York City Fire Department will be on the scene providing medical support to anybody overcome by the elements, and ABC's Marcus Moore is also in Times Square tonight.
An unprecedented security effort taking shape tonight at the crossroads of the world. Barricades already in place and police officers with a watchful eye at nearly every corner.
You'll see a stronger police presence out there than we've seen even in recent years.
For the very first time, police officers screening hotel and restaurant guests near Times Square for explosives and weapons, bomb-sniffing dogs, a network of 10,000 cameras, and police officers in subways and in the air ready to respond.
I feel safer seeing it
Definitely
around.
feel more safer.
But along with security, there's the weather threat, those bone-chilling temperatures.
Damn! Global warming. Back at it again with the white snow!
Bitter cold presenting another security risk for the police guarding the New Year's Eve crowds. Revelers in Times Square will be bundled up, raising concern about what could be hidden under those layers and thick coats. ABC's Gio Benitez on how the NYPD is preparing for that possibility and others like never before.
Tonight, about 48 hours to go before 1 million people descend upon Times Square, the unprecedented security operation is already underway. Police tackling it from above ground, underground, and from the air, preparing to shut down all garages within the secure perimeter to ward off potential truck bombs, clearing everyone out before screening each person who comes into Times Square.
From the magnetometers to the explosive detection canine or vapor wake dogs to the explosive trace machines that where we, similar to the airports, where we can swab the handles of a bag and put it through a machine in a few seconds.
Cities all across the nation adding extra security. In Philadelphia, police are on high alert. In New York City, umbrellas and bags banned. Snipers on rooftops will be ready to act, and those vapor wake dogs able to sniff out even a trace amount of explosives that could be hidden under the many layers revelers will be wearing in what could be the second coldest New Year's Eve on record.
We're working in conjunction with the fire department and EMS to make sure we have the appropriate number of personnel there and the ability to get around through the emergency lanes.